I look at this verse in Revelation chapter 9 about the army of 200 million being set loose in the Middle East, and I really can't see the ISIS extremists forming an army this size. But there is an army already at that number in the world today. In China have an army of 200 million. So I think, okay, it's very unlikely that anyone is going to match that. We must be talking about China's army. So what does that mean in Revelation? Interesting that it's 200 million. And oh look, there's an army of 200 million in Revelation. This means we are looking at an occupation of the Middle East by the Chinese communists. This army of 200 million. Okay. So you look at what happens before all of this, before this army of 200 million. Oh yeah, the Great Tribulation and the Yellowstone volcano super eruption, devastating the world, putting mankind in a state of total disarray. Golden opportunity. Moment of vulnerability. The art of war. That's it. That is it. China are waiting for this to happen. Okay. I believe China and Russia, they know that volcano is going to blow, as do the Americans, okay, the governments. And this is when they're going to take advantage. And I've been through this in my Revelation Decoded video. Yeah, I do this last year. One of the heads of the beast that is mortally wounded. Now, one of my theories was that if we look at the heads, the 7 heads, and on those heads the 10 horns and 10 crowns, well, if the 10 horns are men and the 10 crowns are those men receiving a region of the world, as is in the Development Goals Report of the UN, then the 7 heads that is beneath all of them, there can only be continents. So when the beast is mortally wounded but recovers, okay, I suggested it might be one of the continents. The North American continent would be completely devastated following a Yellowstone super eruption. Beast mortally wounded, but then recovers. The New Babylon is still standing until the end of Revelation. It recovers. Who's going to get her back on her feet? The Chinese communists and the Russians, who are invading America as we speak. And look at all of these graves everywhere. Check out the conspiracy videos where they've got these coffins, millions of coffins prepared for this. They're prepared for this. They're prepared for the Yellowstone super eruption. That's what we're talking about here. So America will get back on her feet with the help of the Red Dragon. Revelation 13. And all will marvel after the beast for recovering. But the Red Dragon is going to take full advantage of this moment of vulnerability for its 200 million army, to march upon those Middle Eastern countries, occupy the Middle East. What this means is, despite what is happening in the Middle East right now, and this Muslim invasion, which we are warned about, Nostradamus and other prophets, but we're not talking about a Middle Eastern army here. We're talking about the Chinese communists who will occupy the Middle East and then be set loose. Notice it says set loose. Set loose. They're waiting for their moment of opportunity. As it says in The Art of War, set loose. Once that opportunity arises, and the Muslim invasions that are happening right now, okay, this is Revelation 6, the 5th seal that is broken, and all this Christian persecution, and they cried with a loud voice, saying, How long, O Lord, holy and true, dost thou not judge and avenge our blood on them that dwell on the earth? Following the 5th seal being broken, and the souls of them that were slain for the word of God, and for the testimony which they had. This is where we are. Okay, we've had the other seals. Check out the other video for that. We're here. We may be here with the 6th seal being broken. The mighty men, the rich men, chief captains, all, yeah, and the kings and so on, running off into the mountains in their underground bunkers because they know what's coming. This thing blows. Big bang of a tribulation. Much woe to man. All the after effects of a super eruption, parallels with Exodus, been through that in another video, 10 plagues of Egypt, okay, volcanic eruption, the locusts, again, 10 plagues of Egypt, one of the plagues, following the super eruption, yeah, this super eruption here, and then the 6th angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the 4 horns of the golden altar which is before God, saying to the 6th angel which had the trumpet, Loose the 4 angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the 4 angels were loosed, which were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year, for to slay the 3rd part of men. Chinese communists will occupy the Middle East with their 200 million man army, and they will be preparing for this when this happens, and then that's the time to move in, that's the time to act, to take over the world. They won't be successful. We will fight them off. We will fight them in the skies. The red dragon and the woman, Europe, China and Europe, fighting in the sky. We fight them off, okay, but then it comes back. As I said, red dragon keeps coming back, and eventually it will succeed, because we will be inebriated with our daily idol worship, okay. We only just fight them off each time. Yeah. Comes back, Revelation 13, worship of the beast. This is when the Antichrist finally ascends to power, and we have this communist worship of the beast regime. keep going. Babylon falls. But then look what happens. It comes back again. After the 1,000 year millennial reign of Christ, the red dragon comes back again. Gog and Magog shall go out to deceive the nations which are in the four quarters of the earth. Gog and Magog. Propaganda. Communist propaganda, deceiving the nations. And compassed the camp of the saints about the beloved city, and fire came down from God out of heaven and devoured them. Keeps coming back. It's always the red dragon. Even where many scholars think we're talking about Middle Eastern Muslims, extremist Muslims. No, 200 million man army is China. It's always the red dragon, the Chinese. They're the real enemy here. Well, actually, no, they're not the real enemy. The real enemy are the globalists pulling their strings with their Illuminati witchcraft, which again I'll go through in another video. But yeah, important to note, these are the real threat. Look at this big red dragon, as I say in my Revelation Decoded video. Always a threat. Keeps coming back. It's going to take full advantage when that volcano blows. Again, 1 Thessalonians. When people think there is peace, this will not be the case. What is next? What is next after... We fight them off. They kill 1/3 of mankind, by the way. The Chinese communists are going to kill 1/3 of us. But as they're occupying the Middle East, we're going to have Muslims, Muslim extremists, with them fighting alongside the Chinese. It's going to be terrible. We're going to have to fight Muslim extremists and Chinese communists. And then Russia will get involved as well. You thought ISIS was bad? Wait until we have the 200 million man army occupying the Middle East. And killing 1/3 of mankind. This is important. My little discovery here. These angels, bound in the great river Euphrates, that are set loose. It's a 200 million man army. Okay, big clue there. Look at what happens when a country becomes desperate. They go to war with other countries to fight for their natural resources. America have done this in the Middle East, fighting for all the oil, and China will do the same in their time of desperation. And when the fulfillment of Revelation is upon us. Who do you think the 200 million man army is going to be when we are in this desperate state and fighting for survival?